All right, you are streaming.
What's that? What does that mean? Exactly is streaming.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You got
I know it's not wrestling related, but did you see the fact that after the Japanese team won in the World Cup, that the fans stuck around and cleaned the stadium?
Oh yeah.
Do we have a
Class
list
act.
anywhere?
Yeah, it's on the.
That's a class.
It's on the same working document. It's just on a second tab.
Man, these are some good cage matches. I got new after seeing the dates on these.
Got it.
I got new respect for some of these guys. You know what I mean? Like that schedule's grueling right there.
Well, yeah. Whenever you're running a week and a half of War Games matches.
Boom, we're set.
Grueling. And I got to get to.
I
Three
love
Horsemen.
that Austin McMahon St. Valentine's cage match. I love that match. Just love it. Don't know why.
Well-
Probably because it was so good.
For the longest time, I thought that was the last.
Yeah, Daryl, we
block,
just got started.
like the block cage that they had.
Mhm.
I thought that
Tim will
was
be with
the
us in a
last
sec.
one of those that they ran. It actually wasn't.
Because they ran that dog kennel horse shit later, didn't they?
Well, so they ran a UK event.
Brian, can you minimize
later
that
in the
tab
year.
there with
That's
the
right.
videos on it and see if
And
we can
I
see the
guess
chat on that?
Edge and Christian had a
This?
match,
Yeah,
but
minimize
like
that tab or move it.
supposedly they were trying to
Everett
get
always
like
gets the
the
chat to
fence
come up right
caging
up
Oh, I guess
Mhm.
because
Over there, and they-
over to that video.
for whatever reason.
Oh, that may be, yeah.
Couldn't get it over there or couldn't get it put together right, or I don't know the whole story, but they just went with the block cage. That
Oh,
I
I
guess is-
loved it because they painted it black for that.
Yeah, yeah.
What are we looking at?
We were going to get the video. You'll have to sign in to see the comments, though, Brian.
Oh, it was signed in before.
Yes, it was.
Accounts.google.
This is going to be surreal talk.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if you do it in the creator part or if you do it in just browsing the channel. I honestly don't know.
I think if you just go to our channel, you can click on the live.
There it
Boom.
is, yeah.
Almost there.
Brett versus Owen at SummerSlam 94, Daryl McCleary says. I don't remember that.
Oh yeah.
It's a very good match. It's when they stop Blade, and that's one of the things we'll talk about today.
They stopped blading? I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Keep blading, boys. I want to see it.
It's one of the things we're going to talk about.
You for it or against it?
Now? Actually, you know what? I shouldn't say that now. Because it's not like AIDS just came along and Hep C just came along. You know what I mean?
Right. Everett says,
Hear about this AIDS, pal?
He also
Man, I am
says-
so loud in my headphones
I
right
know.
now.
I'm just
Everett
like,
just said in
I'm
the chat, audio is
cooking.
low.
What's that?
Everett just said in the chat that the audio is low, and we're loud as hell,
He said it's low.
I guess.
I don't know why. I'm gonna try to gain it up some.
What do you think about, let me ask you this. I think steroids for baseball are okay.
Oh, please bring him back.
I'm okay with it.
It's the most boring sport in the world now.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
dreadful.
baseball, I feel like steroids are okay for most sports.
I do too.
But like, no, you have, not necessarily.
with UFC.
Well, I don't feel like, because if they can get hurt, like by the extra use of steroids, like if you get hurt.
They're doing different type of steroids though. They're not doing steroids to get super jacked. It's for
Daryl says it is low.
it's for Overeem was the only guy that ever got jacked.
What are you talking about? Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but Lesnar.
That fucker's head's huge.
Yeah, but Lesnar fought fucking Hunt, and he can't. I mean,
He fucking no, he didn't fight Mark Hunt. He fucking ragdolled poor
check.
Mark Hunt.
but
Check.
let's think about it.
Got you guys.
Anderson Silva.
Okay, fair point.
Have Brian
His
turn
was
down
Vitor,
headphones
though.
and up the main channel out
Vitor
by
was
20%.
taking something.
Vitor was
Should
on
do
a
it.
different level. Though.
Yeah, I did that, Everett.
But the big thing in UFC
Everett,
was
you better not be driving right
testosterone,
now.
TRT and growth.
Right.
I mean, you can
I
look
w-
at
I'm
those
not
guys'
opposed
heads,
to
and
doing a
their
course.
heads were different.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
it
like,
was changing them. Fucking.
TRT and HGH should be fine.
I'm not opposed to doing a course.
John Jones was never on steroids. I don't believe it. I really don't.
Did you see his and Cormier's most recent Twitter back and
Yeah.
forth? Yeah.
There's
Some guys genuinely don't like each other.
Oh no, they fucking hate each other.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
and if when push comes to shove, Cormier's just gonna get beat up again.
Yep, and
And he's fighting fucking Stipe Miocic this week.
and they're trying to paint the narrative that if he beats Stipe, which I think he's going to.
Are you serious?
Stipe,
T.O.
hey, he's a better wrestler. Cormier is going to out wrestle him. Cormier's never lost as a heavyweight ever.
He lost to John Jones, 30 pounds lighter than a heavyweight.
John Jones might have outweighed him at those. Jones would get up to 225 day of fights.
He beat Overeem. He beat
Who?
Stipe. Stipe beat who the fuck else did he? He beat
Verdun.
I walked into the
Junior
UFC
Dos Santos.
podcast.
Dude, come on now.
It's always happens.
Hold on, real quick. Do you know who all Cormier's beat at heavyweight?
It's a little better
Damn,
now.
Nobody worth a damn.
Everett
at
Hicks.
heavyweight.
Just wait.
Who's he beat
Hey,
at
thanks for
heavyweight?
watching, Everett.
Big names. Let's hear it. Big names. 'Cause
Hold
I
on.
don't think he's beat
Hold on.
anybody.
We miss you,
Hold on,
Everett.
hold on.
Everett, how's Maine? Let us know.
Better than here.
I heard it's a lot like Delaware. Ha.
Hi.
Ha.
In
You're
Delaware.
in Delaware. Wow.
Okay, so
In
he beat
Delaware.
Bigfoot Silva,
Oh, no shit.
Josh Barnett,
Wait a minute. Okay. I didn't
Frank
know this.
Mir, Roy Nelson.
He beat Roy Nelson? Cormier did?
Yes.
Thank you,
All right,
Everett.
man,
I
new
appreciate
information
it.
has come to light.
So then he dropped.
And you know what? Now
he
that I
dropped
realized it,
down.
that's
Corey.
fine. That's fine. Now that I think about it, you guys can have this off the air. Nobody cares about UFC, but
Oh,
But
I
we're
beg to
talking to
differ.
Everett.
Everett's
Oh, in New
here,
Hampshire
he
now.
might care.
Everett, I was thinking about
He's
it,
not
dude.
beating Steve.
Maine is the perfect state
Think
for
he's
you
going
because
to.
He's not doing
nobody
it.
can nobody can
wanna lay a
bother
friendly
you,
bet on
which
it, or just-
I'll bet you a
now
lunch on it.
sounds quite
All right,
peaceful. So does New
Lunch, it's
Hampshire.
down.
See what the odds are.
Oh fuck! I didn't even think to look at the odds.
I don't know what they are. Being
Yeah,
dead honest,
I don't know.
I think Cormier is gonna be able to wrestle him.
I don't
Cormier
know,
was
man.
a world class wrestler.
I think Stipe Miocic's gonna whip his ass.
I wouldn't bother me. I think Jones beats the shit out of either one of them.
That's probably a fair.
Because
assessment,
Jones
too,
is gonna
yeah.
come back and fight Lesnar and then end up fighting. I don't. But the thing is, DC's gonna retire. If he wins, DC's done. He won't fight Jones again.
No, he'll become a commentator.
And he'll try to come out and say that he was the greatest and all this. And it's like, dude, I've watched you. One, he beat your ass when he wasn't on anything and passed all the drug tests the first time he fought. Second time, he knocked your head off your
Hey,
shoulders.
Brian, how close are we?
Yeah, clean.
Getting close.
Did you see the poor post-fight interview, man?
That I felt awful.
Well, that was
WCW
because-
is for
and you know
sale.
Joe
I called
Rogan,
WWE
he
yesterday
talked
afternoon.
to UFC after that.
I'd
and was
buy
like,
that.
Look, I'm not interviewing anyone that
I'd
just
buy
got
that
knocked
entire
out.
library.
I'm done with
Yeah.
that, dude. I'm done interviewing people that just got knocked out. They're emotional. They can't remember things.
We need to
He's
talk
like,
about
that's
that one
not
day.
even
How they
good
just
for their
pissed
image
that entire
or our
thing
image.
away.
So they decided
WCW
not to
could
interview
still be
people that just
making
got
money
fucking knocked out
today.
anymore, or choked out or whatever the case may
No,
be.
Seriously, look at
I
the
agree
library.
with that, 'cause,
No, no,
man,
I agree.
They
I've
could have
been
had their
knocked out
whole
before,
library and
cold,
just had it on
unconscious,
demand.
And when you wake up, you don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck's going
Oh.
on.
No, let's
You
just
don't
sell
know
it for
anything.
$5 million.
You can barely
Nobody
move around,
cares.
you know what
Did
I
they
mean?
get $5 million for it?
Here
Yeah.
it is.
Well,
Here
Everett
comes
says
the-
audio's good.
How's AOL doing now?
Cormier's plus 205.
All right.
So your Stipe is a 2.5 to 1 favorite.
I'm ready on my end.
He's
That makes
gonna win.
sense.
He's gonna win.
You guys good?
Ready?
Kick it.
The following podcast is scheduled for one fall, and there will be no disqualifications. Making their way to the ring from lineupmedia.fm at a combined weight of 849 pounds, the Three Horsemen.
Independence Day Eve, and we're still here. We make all our shots. Every promoter, you can guarantee we're gonna be there. The Three Horsemen. We may bring somebody else along. We did that today because we got 4 horsemen today. Because that's how we roll. Alex, T.O., Eric, Corey, here to talk about steel cage matches. Gentlemen, what's the good word on this Independence Day Eve? It's only like 100 degrees out.
America.
It's a hot one.
It is a hot one.
Now, what it's all about, though, it's supposed to be blistering hot on 4th of July.
I'd rather it be blistering hot than be pouring down rain.
What day did it just absolutely... Oh, Sunday.
Yeah, it
Oh,
destroyed
my
us.
God.
That's terrible,
Well,
wasn't it?
Sunday and then the last Thursday, too, I think. I mean, because
Mm-hmm.
I remember having a fun little trip to the basement with my family. That was interesting. Daughter freaking out and
Tornado warnings
Yeah.
and shit, the whole nine, yeah.
Nothing like being old men.
Yeah, yeah.
Worrying about basements, worrying about getting your lawn cut. T.O., did you get your lawn cut?
I hate cutting the grass, man.
Oh, man, you do it
Hate
a
it.
lot.
Yeah, about once or twice a week.
I like it. I like it a lot.
That might be too
twice a week, really?
That's
Shit.
It's a big lawn.
you got
Shit grows
got-
while you're cutting it.
have neighbors that you got to keep up with.
That's right.
You can't be the shaggy lawn on the block, huh?
No,
Not on that block. He lives among the hoi polloi.
Uh-oh.
that I
Oh.
do not.
High and tight is not just a haircut or a pitch in baseball.
Or
Yep,
Uh-huh.
good one.
Moving
I like
on.
it.
Moving on.
my belly button.
He's here. I don't do it my belly too. Anyway, so we got July 4th coming up tomorrow. Happy Independence Day to everybody. America's in great shape.
Yeah. Is that right?
But I mean, that's for another show that we'll never do. I think of July
we get
4th.
thrown
I
off
always
the air.
think of the Great American Bash. But we're here to talk about cage matches. Okay, I'll throw this out. Whoever wants to respond. Number one, what makes a good cage match? Number two, what did you expect when you saw a cage match?
What
Blood.
Blood made a good cage match.
We're all agreed there, Blood.
Because back in the day, you'd have a standard wrestling match, but then you would think cage, you would think, oh, there's got to be extra violence. There's got to be.
It's a blood feud.
Right.
I mean, like it comes.
I like
that's
it.
what I draw
It's a
to.
blood feud. That's how you settled feuds. You'd have two matches. Somebody would interfere in the second one. So you had to have a cage match to keep everybody out.
It was a formula,
They
But
used
not
to,
just
they
for-
used to follow those.
but not just for every feud. I mean, like
No.
I bet
at the top of the card.
the old NWA,
Oh.
their formula was probably drawn out a little more
Mm-hmm.
instead of WWF doing a 2-match. Boom.
Yeah, they do get a little bit of a rough go because now you look at it back with our eyes and we're older and it was like, oh, man. Yeah, it happened quick back then. No, not like it does now. It's, 3 months and it's over. They draw it out, run-ins. Guys didn't have to be on TV every week. You'd be able to go.
Promos. They would do like,
Yes.
yeah, I know. No, I get it.
I mean, God, that was the best part of NWA, too. I'm going back and watching Mid-Atlantic, which I know everybody loves. And it's just, the matches are dreadful. Some guy getting beat up. You're there for the interview. And then they would do the interview behind the cage. That was the best part.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you knew it was serious shit.
Those War Games promos are the best.
Yeah. Well, I agree. You said blood, though.
Speaking of old school, people don't know what to think when you pull up to a stoplight listening to Bad Street USA.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of freaked some people out this morning.
Last house on the block.
Was not good.
Further down the block, you want the batter it got?
The batter
Is
guy.
that how it goes?
Yeah, well, people were looking at me like I was a lunatic.
Oh, I like it.
That's a great song, though.
What's your favorite cage match, Corey?
Of all time?
Yeah, the one that sticks out the most in your mind.
What's your favorite cage of all time, too? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot we could go with
I like
here.
the square cages myself and versus chain link.
The block cages.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue cage.
Yes.
I'll agree.
Was
And
that
I
done for
think
camera?
You're gonna tell me the Hogan thing, right?
No, I'm just asking.
No,
Like,
but it's the Hogan rule, wasn't it? He couldn't get his foot
foot
inside
in the side. Well, it's
because his
the thing
giant
that's been out there.
there.
He couldn't climb the cage because he is such a great athlete.
Yeah, that's I also want to say when we get to the end and we tell what's coming up next week, I've got an idea. Best cage match I've ever seen, like my favorite one to watch or favorite one I've been in person to see.
Take it how you want it, any way you want it. What's your favorite cage match?
Almost a tie because I was at it. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at Hell in a Cell in '97. I'd never seen anything like it. It was the first time.
First one.
Yeah. First Hell in a Cell, and it was just insanity. Great card. It just got me back into wrestling because I had stopped watching wrestling. Definitely stopped watching WWF. I was kind of getting into the NWO stuff a little bit. And dude, those two put on a fucking clinic. And it was when Michaels had gone from, he had been a good guy for 2-3 years, and then he was doing that overselling when he was a bad guy. You know how he did just the
Flop around. And
yes,
That's the fish shit.
oh my
Yeah.
god, and it's stupid when you look back at it, but it was so good then. So that was good.
I still think it's funny to watch it. I mean,
it is.
Not a cage match, obviously, but if you watch Michaels and Hogan at whatever SummerSlam within the last, 12 years or whatever, and Michaels just oversells every single thing because of like behind the scenes stuff going on.
That's what I was gonna say. He's doing it to be a prick.
Yeah,
that's
but
the best part of it.
It's hilarious.
Very different. Now,
Right, correct, but
and we'll get to what there are other types of cage matches. What's your favorite cage match then?
My favorite was where Mankind fucking went right through the bottom of it.
20th anniversary of
Oh, wait,
that match, right?
yeah.
Close to.
so Taker and Mankind.
Yeah, it was
okay, I was
tons
gonna
of
say because
fun.
he went through the cage twice.
He went through that. No, I mean he went through the floor. You know, the ring, all the way through it. I didn't know he went through twice.
I know you've listened to the last
that
one with
was-
Pritchard, right?
No.
But it was.
That's how I knew it was the
Undertaker.
20th anniversary, but I haven't listened to it.
The 20th anniversary just came up with that. They just did a show on it about
Did
the
they?
whole deal.
Good.
Yeah.
Was he supposed to go through?
Yep.
Oh, he was.
So how did they?
Oh, shit!
how
You just
did
fucking
they?
ruined it. For me.
How did they avoid not going through that during the match?
They stayed away from it. I've watched that 1,000 times to see. I'm like, did they ever step on that? Never stepped on it. You know how you could see the zip ties coming out?
Yeah.
He was supposed to choke slam him, and the cage was supposed to give a little bit.
It didn't though, right?
No, he just went straight through it. Right. So he was supposed to do it once, give a little bit. Do it twice, give a little more. By the third time, he was gonna like roll.
So there
or
was
maybe
going to
have-
be going to be sagged a little bit too, so the fall wasn't as much.
Yeah, he would have hit the cage and
Then
boom,
went.
finally fallen, or hit it and rolled off to the end of the ring.
But instead, he's got choke slam through down, so there's more velocity, more.
Did he get seriously injured? Do you know?
Well, it knocked the chair came that was laying on that cage and hit him in the face.
Tooth went in his nose or something.
Well, he inhaled it and it came back out through his
Yeah.
sinus cavity.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
His
I
kids,
think-
his kids were sitting ringside, right? Was that? No, that was
That was when he took 19 chair shots to the
That was
face.
That's
that
what
was
it
against
was.
The Rock.
The
That was
Rock.
really smart.
Yeah.
What a good idea.
Daryl says No Way Out 2000. That's the other time he went through the
Very
cage.
no, hey, Daryl, you're very right because I love that match.
It's a great match.
And that's the only reason you're right, Daryl. Sorry. I didn't mean it like that. That is a very good match. Those guys beat the shit out of each other. Good match.
So Noelle Foley's well adjusted after watching her dad get beat into oblivion because she's dating a fucking clown now.
Very true.
It's crazy, man. Like
Very
like the injuries that he got that weren't like he that knocked his tooth out.
He's the most normal wrestler from that era. Like he's the only one that's not like
Normal.
whacked out on drugs. No, I mean like he's still a smart, educated. I mean like
Or had
well
6
spoken.
divorces or anything like that.
No, I mean he's New York Times best-selling author. I mean like the guy does
Mick Foley,
a
huh?
ton of shit. Yeah, he has a charity that he's really involved with. Like he's one of the few good guys of that era.
Yeah.
Like one of the few guys that are left from that era.
Do you like that match just because he got thrown off the cell?
Well, yeah,
So it was the high spots that you liked, the two
course.
spots.
of course. Because I don't know, it wasn't. I mean, it was exciting, but it wasn't. That just was like when you're watching that and it happened, you're like, holy shit! First time you ever saw it. I mean, it sticks out in your mind. You know what I mean?
Well, it helps that Ross and Lawler sold the crap out of that, too.
Well,
I mean,
two best commentators right there, Ross and Lawler. I mean, you'll never forget JR through hellfire. I can't get that. That won't come out of my head. It's Kane. No, but I'm saying, think about that. That his commentary was fucking golden, man. Golden.
They brought up a great point on Pritchard's. They said, once they did that, they almost made the Hell in a Cell like, oh shit, what do you do to top that?
Can't top it. The
Yeah.
shock factor of that.
Because
That's why it's so That's why it's so memorable.
yeah,
What built up to the Hell in a Cell though? What was going on in the feud that led to it being a Hell in a Cell? Do you remember?
who?
The first one with Michaels Undertaker. What What was going on in the storyline that they had to put the roof on top of it?
There wasn't a. I don't know if they
Did
needed
someone
to
climb
blow
a cage
off.
before, and that's what happened? I mean, like, was
No.
there? So they didn't even make a storyline up like that to where like a cage could not contain this because
They had a match the month before at In Your House, and I couldn't tell you what happened in it. That was that memorable. I really don't. I really don't know what happened.
Well, it just goes to show you though, because I mean, whenever their first Hell in a Cell, obviously it was a new thing, a new gimmick. It was a new type of cage, and it obviously did its job because I mean, like you said, In Your House, the pay-per-view before, I don't remember what happened, but we remember the next one, same two guys.
Very true. And I don't.
But do you find
It was
the-
a takeoff on the War Games and the cage they did in Georgia for Sawyer and Rich.
But do you find the irony in the Hell in a Cell of keeping these two inside? That's what the cage match was always about. Getting out, keeping the match inside. And every Hell in a Cell match, they end up on top of the cell.
Not everyone.
Mostly, no.
Yeah.
But, like,
Well, now the
It just
goddamn
doesn't make
thing's 12
sense.
stories high.
it's just.
I mean, it's
just
fucking huge.
Weird. It's just a weird thing now because, like, the matches take place outside the ring. Like, even cage matches now, like, when we were kids, like, the big theme was climb the cage, get out, you win.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's pinfall.
In WWF.
Yes, like, there's a lot of different, like, I don't like that.
Well, nobody else had that either. WWF is the only organization that you could climb out of the cage and win.
Which is like a chicken shit heel move that, like, that's the only people that should have done that to win the matches. But just
it keeps the guy
with
from
psychology.
It keeps a guy from getting pinned. That's what you keep heat on somebody. And
like,
say, yeah.
no, I'm just saying, like, Hogan climbing in the cage and getting over. Like, why do you have your big star baby face climbing? I mean, I beat his ass so bad he's down for the 30 seconds it takes my doofy ass to climb over a cage.
Well, I also like that guys always tried to get out through the door for 20 minutes, and then at the 21st minute, they're like, I'm going to climb out now.
Yeah. It was just and again, if people ripped apart, you know, we talk about how bad the product is today and the inconsistencies and the insulting your intelligence, like just with stuff that goes on in the match and in-ring psychology. That shit happened back in the day too. Like
Oh, I
what
totally
you just
agree.
said, like people would pick apart some of the old shit that's considered classic stuff.
Yeah. You're right. I don't know what to say to that.
All right,
Because you're right.
You put anything on the internet, somebody's gonna shit on it. That's,
No,
that's
that's
just
true.
how that
I-
goes.
Favorite cage match?
Magnum and Tully, Starrcade '85.
I quit. And Tully never said he quit.
They just yes.
Great match. Breaks apart the wooden chair. Drives the stake in his head. It's good stuff.
I mean, literally. I mean, you can see as he's driving the stake in his head, Tully's also got a blade at the same time. Like you can see him slowly like cutting himself and just blood dripping. It just
It's a great match. Now, that had a reason. That had Baby Doll dressing up as a cop. That had, and then Magnum TA dressing up as a cop. That had a bunch of shit. They were so much better at TV back then. But I have to, that's another great, you guys have pretty much named my top 5 TO. What's your favorite cage match of all time?
I'm reading Daryl here. He's got a lot of stuff going on. In Your House, Ground Zero. I remember the feud started when Michaels hit Taker with a chair by accident when Taker fought Brett.
It was SummerSlam.
And he's saying Lesnar versus Taker at No Mercy 2002 Hell in a Cell match.
that was
good.
That was a bloodbath.
Nope,
Don't
never
remember
saw
that one. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
that's what it said.
Taker bladed too deep, and he was just like,
Hit a gusher?
oh yeah,
Did he?
yeah.
Uh-oh.
the whole match.
That's good times. What's your favorite TO?
I'm trying to think.
I didn't mean to bring up.
Favorite.
I feel like I brought up Hell in a Cell too quick, and thank God you brought back to regular.
I mean,
cage
it's like the
matches.
the favorite, like the most iconic cage thing to me is Snuka.
Right.
Standing and doing that off the top. So, like, I can't say the match itself, but that, you know, that's tied right there with Foley going off the top of the cage as far as spots.
Mm-hmm.
There was, I'm wanting to say, a SummerSlam with Brett and Owen. That was a great match.
Right.
in the early 90s, mid-90s.
Or 94.
Remember watching that.
Daryl brought that up too.
Did he? But that was, I mean, like, that was still more of a technical match inside a cage. But like, I just like that match. I like the psychology of it, the brothers. But, I mean, War Games tops everything. Like, you can pretty much put every War Game, if you're going to do a top 10 list, they're all going to be in there for the most part.
Yeah.
Is it because of the build-up? Is it because of the characters in it? Because I guarantee you right now, if WWF or WWE right now did War Games, it'd be a shit show.
I think it was a combination of the fact that you had all of these, like, is pretty much the equivalent of having, like, your face all-star team versus your heel all-star team and putting them in a cage. And each one's going in one by one, and so it keeps the dynamic for the whole match going up to the point where they're all in. And from that point, it's, you know, there's always something to see.
Sorry, Daryl. I was going to call Daryl the Fifth Horseman. He said we need to put him on the show. I agree with you. I think I like the original because the Road Warriors were going to be done. I was like, all right, these guys are going to beat the shit out of the horse. I was 5 years old. Shit. Give me a break. What? Okay, we keep talking about cage matches. We've got them listed. San Martino and Zbyszko at Shea, Backlund and Snuka, where he came off the cage and missed. Snuka Morocco, where he came off the cage and hit after he had lost. Flair and Harley at Starrcade. Hogan and Bundy at WrestleMania 2. I mean, I saw Hogan and Bossman in St. Louis in a cage. He didn't do the spot where he did the superplex off the top of the cage, which check out the network. Go to that Saturday night's main event where he does that.
It's on YouTube.
Oh my! Is it on YouTube?
Yep.
Oh my God! How have they not taken that down? Ultimate Warrior.
Well, they
Rick
will
Rude.
now.
Yeah, they will now.
Sorry.
Warrior Rude was another good one. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so one you skipped over just to touch on real quick. We keep bringing up cage matches that resolve feuds. How about Flair and Von Erich that catapulted the Von Erich Freebird feud? That's what started it all.
You guys know what we're talking about here?
I do not. No.
It was the Freebirds coming into
WCCW.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you got the Von Erichs, Texas wrestling. It was big time wrestling for the longest time. That became WCCW in the early '80s.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Von Erichs and Freebirds that were, you know, buddies at the time, and so you've got Flair coming in, had a series of matches with Von Erich over the course of
Which Von Erich was it at the time?
Kerry.
Kerry.
So
this is when Kerry was getting the push down there as going to be the Von Erich to carry the torch.
Yeah, I think David had taken off for Florida after a fight with Fritz right around this time.
and so you had Flair and Von Erich had already had a series of matches. Flair would lose by DQ or whatever the case may be. So they're just like, okay, we're gonna put Flair and Kerry in a cage. There's not gonna be any outside interference.
Was Hayes the referee in this?
Yeah, and
Yep.
what happened was we're gonna take this one step further. We're gonna let the fans vote on who they want the referee to be. So they voted for Hayes. So
Wait, whoa. What do you mean voted with air quotes?
voted.
Uh-oh.
You mean they didn't actually vote? Wait a minute, I'm looking this up. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead with this bullshit story where they didn't vote on the actual referee.
All right, so
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off.
you're good.
You think one of the brothers would have won the voting?
Yeah.
In a promotion ran by their father.
Maybe Mike would have won it. I'm not going to speak ill. Go ahead.
So, fast forward in the match, Hayes decks Flair. He wants Kerry to pin him. Kerry doesn't want anything to do with it, so they start tussling a little bit. Hayes is leaving the cage, Terry Gordy slams the cage on Kerry. The crowd loses it, and so at that point,
And, like, fucking loses it. Like, trying to get at him. Like,
Oh, no shit.
like borderline riot.
you have to watch the old videos of this time in wrestling down in Texas. Because, it was insane. Like, when the Von Erichs would come to the ring, I'm not kidding you, like, women would just grope them and kiss them. Like, and they
They were
weren't plants.
superstars.
They weren't plants. It was fucking madness in the crowd.
Wow.
Madness.
Yeah, and so and this was a big event. It was in Dallas. It was Christmas Day, and so
Yeah.
like you had this going on, and fans were just like, they were livid. And so at this point, Kerry got busted open. The match kept going. They sent Gordy and Hayes to the back. Kerry's busted open. The ref stops the match, and of course, Flair again wins. Because
he's Ric Flair.
Yeah. So the match itself, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great. But just for, I guess, historical significance.
Yeah, set
short,
up the,
short story.
One of the biggest feuds in the history of the
long
big
version
deal.
of a short story. That's
No, I mean, and that carried them for, 2-3 years? Till Freebird said adios. You said that when I was thinking of Flair and Nikita, where Dusty comes in to save Flair. That sets up Dusty and Flair because they break, and they had that was a real right. Like, people trying to get in the cage, wrestlers knocking guys off the cage. They wouldn't let them out. They wouldn't let the Horsemen out. That was in, I'm thinking the Omni or maybe Greensboro.
No, it was Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yep.
Wow.
They're literally stopping. It's great. You can find
Fans hanging off the cage. I mean, they're
great stuff.
That's gnarly shit, man. What do you do as a wrestler at that point other than not
start throwing?
Yeah. You can't do anything but
because the cops are marks too. They're like, yeah, fuck these guys. they got Dusty Rhodes in the middle of the room. What are they doing? That's what they always talk about. They're like, oh, cops were fans too. Shit. They were like, yeah, fuck bad guys. I ain't helping you. I'm not getting.
Those are the best Cornette when Cornette talks about that kind of shit. What he's talking about. You got Billy Bob back there trying holding the crowd back. And he says, "Fuck it, let's get those bastards."
Well, you have people with fucking Drano and squirt guns shooting you. If I'm a cop, I'm like, yeah, you guys take care of yourself. You guys want to do this shit? Fuck you.
Wow.
But no, cage match. We talked about blood before we got on the air, and blood's a huge part of how they used to do all these. I mean, that made a match.
Real blood.
Yeah, Flair was clear for the blade. He said oftentimes. You pose the question: blood or no blood? Where do you stand on that?
Blood.
Fuck yeah.
It's all part of the show, man.
Even since they discovered AIDS a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. You try to tell me that this is not an athletic organization and they don't test their people that have the potential to bleed in the ring.
You know what
people?
started to make me wonder? Because I used to just assume.
They have to. I mean, I know it's entertainment, but so is porn, and they test their actors.
They didn't test back then, I guarantee it.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like,
I'm just saying now. I bet
they do. Now, I bet they do.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they do now.
Yeah, I'm sure they're tested for everything now.
Back then, though, they avoided commissions any way they could, and they would have back pocket deals with them to where they'd, oh, here's $200, okay. I mean, that's why.
But I don't think they really knew AIDS was in your blood or thought that was real.
I mean,
they used to think you could get it from doing coke because it was an inhalant in your nose that was causing you to get AIDS.
That's what I was going to say.
Like, no.
Back in that era, those guys were definitely living the clean lifestyle, so I don't know how they would be worried about AIDS.
Right. I'm surprised more wrestlers didn't get it.
I'm shocked.
They're in the back sharing fucking needles and shit.
I'm shocked that more big wrestlers didn't get AIDS.
Especially the homosexual wrestlers. I'm not joking.
Gay wrestlers?
You're at a higher risk.
Gay wrestlers.
Go on.
Yes.
Get out of here. Gay wrestlers. Are you serious?
Yes.
Who?
Yeah, drop a name.
Give me a name of a gay wrestler.
Pat Patterson's a good start.
One.
You want more?
Yeah.
Do we really have to out people on here?
If you know, you're not outing them.
Absolutely.
All right.
Right.
I can't think of the guy from that Cornette talked about the other day. He's an old wrestler from the territories, and he used to be in a tag team. Colt. They said he died of. Oh, Chris Colt was another. What he ended up doing, gay porno.
Okay. So, yep.
Yeah, but that could have just been for money.
Yeah, he's pretty gay. I mean, he was gay. I mean, he had a boyfriend in the.
Oh, okay. Well,
another one. Let's see. Garvin. Not Ronnie Garvin.
Terry Garvin.
Not Jimmy Garvin.
Wasn't he married though?
Terry Garvin School of Self-Defense. That was a reference they used to make on WWF shows because Terry Garvin would like proposition wrestlers.
Oh.
Yeah, and they'd go, and Gorilla Monsoon would say, "Oh, he must have gone to Terry Garvin's School of Self-Defense." now they have to.
known.
Now they have to cut it out of the shows.
inside jokes back then.
Oh, it's fucking brutal.
Who else do you have? Chris Canyon?
Canyon, Orlando Jordan
Canyon, did he die of AIDS? Though?
Alex Wright.
killed himself.
That was a
No.
joke. That was a joke.
Alex Wright, Das Wunderkid.
Das Wunderkid.
Yeah, can't wait till he shows up
Berlin.
here and kicks your ass.
Yeah, no shit. He was like 6'3" or something, but he was a
Yeah.
fucking big boy.
Yeah, but I'm not joking. Though.
Okay, if you had to bet on one wrestler right now that's gay, who would it be?
This
Finn Balor.
Not gay. He's dating the announcer chick,
What about Kenny Omega?
Kenny Omega. Definitely.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. What happens if he comes out?
I don't think people care.
Nothing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Wait a
2018.
minute. Wait a minute.
I don't think people care that are wrestling fans.
Really?
No.
Really?
Wrestling fans are pretty progressive.
Okay, Stephanie. You been drinking the Stephanie juice over there?
No.
I'm inclined to agree. I don't think wrestling fans care. I think his fellow workers would care more than fans.
Oh, I think they all know. I think his boys know.
You think it's inside?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's well known inside the business that he is.
You're just stating that as a fact.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
It's well known inside the business.
Ask anybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, but no, I've heard multiple people that work in the independents and have worked with him heard that it's pretty well known. He doesn't exactly hide it. And that was the thing with Balor. Balor is apparently very comfortable with his sexuality
I don't doubt that.
and kind of, good looking cat, but he doesn't. He kind of just does whatever. And not that he does whatever with who, not like that, but he doesn't try to put on this macho image because people start questioning it. He just has been the same guy he's been. But he has some guys that he's close with that are his boys that he grew up with, kind of one of those things, and that's why people suspected. But apparently Omega, it's kind of like everybody.
Known?
Everybody kind of just gets it and goes with it.
do you
and
think
runs with
wrestlers
it.
treat another wrestler differently if they have to fight against them after finding out, learning that they're gay? I mean, not that it matters, but do you think other wrestlers, especially back
Do
in
you
the day,
mean
and probably not so
are
much of
there
the-
wrestlers that
Well, I'm
that
saying,
treat them different?
yeah, probably not so much today.
Yes.
But I'm saying back then, imagine like the '80s, if you found out one of the dudes that you were about to get in and get all sweety with was gay. I mean,
problem
you
is, though,
think they
Pat
were
Patterson-
probably hard on him, dude.
Patterson ran the business. I mean, Patterson was one of the most influential people in the business. And
Yeah. Notice he got a job in the WWF.
nobody said a fucking word to him.
No.
No, I mean,
Hey, you want this
Which, hey,
announcing job?
hold on, though. It goes to Vince. I mean, there's the huge rumor of Vince and Shawn
Uh-oh.
Michaels.
Yeah, come on.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah, I don't buy
that
that
is
either.
there. I mean, there.
Is this segue my
This
fault?
is the Three Horsemen. We're talking cage matches.
This is my fault.
Daryl, if you're still with us, thanks for hanging with us for the
Well, I
last
mean,
few
men in
minutes.
cages.
Men in cages.
That obviously leads to this conversation.
Well,
So would you blade?
would I blade?
Would you blade?
No.
No.
If you're a wrestler and you
Yeah,
don't,
if you're a
just
wrestler.
a pussy.
Right. How
If I
you
was
get your
a-
fans up?
I mean, if I was back in the day, I guess. But man, I don't know. It's just you're rewriting history if you know what's going on back
They
then.
should blade now
They should blade now.
in
Yeah.
a cage match. If you're having, I mean, like it takes away from a cage match automatically if you don't bust open.
A little bit, at least a little bit. So, you know what you don't see enough bloody noses. Like as hard as these guys are getting hit, they should really kind of make it a little bit more just
Break
once
your
in
own
a-
nose.
Yeah, that's a nice substitute to blading. No, it isn't. It sucks. I've had my nose broken. But can you imagine, like, there's no bloody noses or even bloody lips ever. Let's try to make this
Watch a
little more,
Lesnar match.
Let's try to make this a little better. Here,
Yeah.
You know?
I'll give Lesnar props on that though. He'll just say fuck it and bust himself open.
Or bust somebody else open,
Deal with
like
it.
he did at WrestleMania. Or
Max,
like
don't
he
look
did
real
it
enough.
whenever
Come
he-
here, bud.
Yeah, whenever he tried to knock Randy Orton's head off,
Or
he just
Strowman.
cuts guys, or Cena. He did it to all of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, so did you liked when Flair would basically
Oh,
just
yeah.
gig for days?
Yeah, you had that white hair, man, that blonde.
in a
and that-
cage. I get it.
and the red just fucking, it was great. Yeah, it was great.
The
Part
old
of my
say-
childhood.
the
man.
old saying-
I fucking loved it.
The old saying is red equals green, and they were right. But
My thing was, my question was, that's kind of weird because you asked, would you blade? My question wasn't going to be, would you blade? It was, where would you hide your blade?
Well, that's why Flair always had the tape on his fingers. Because, I mean,
wrist.
You do the wrist.
I'm saying my wrist.
Yeah,
That's where I'd go.
But I mean, Flair
Right next to a
there-
major artery. Good call, Corey.
There are multiple videos on YouTube of how like he would literally take a razor blade, cut it in half again, and then
Put the tip, have the tip stick. Yeah.
well he'd create like a
A
little tab that
yeah.
he could pull it out of his. But I mean, depending.
Savage was the same way.
Yeah. I don't know.
What about the fucking guys that keep them in their mouth or under their tongue?
That's just insanity.
But I mean, there's guys that preferred to hide the blade that way.
You've seen the Kerry Von Erich Lawler match,
Crazy.
No.
where fucking Von Erich's all fucked up. He cut his
armpit on
cut
the way
his
to
own
the
arm.
ring.
No, before the match. He's sitting there talking to him. He's like, "Oh fuck."
Oh, I thought it was on the way to the ring.
No, him and Lawler just sitting there talking. Lawler says, "Oh yeah," he's just sitting there. He goes, "Uh-oh." So he opens up his thing and acts like he's bleeding. So Lawler has to go work on that and act like he cut his arm fucking 30 seconds into the match.
Oh my gosh.
What's up, Pills? Jesus, how fucked up are you? And you got to wrestle.
Yeah.
In front
How do you wrestle at that point?
And
You
I
know
was
what
about to say in front of 20,000 people. It was AWA Superclass. So it was in front of about 200 people, but it was still on pay-per-view that nobody watched. But Jesus, how fucked up. And that wasn't a cage match. Fuck, I got to stop segueing. Okay.
That was a funny moment. Though.
Yes,
That
it's a
was-
great moment. Okay, so if you want blood and you want guts, that is War Games. And War Games, to me, is the best iteration of, aside from the single match. I like Hell in a Cell, but I am a War Games fan. Any War Games stick out to you guys?
The very first one. Because it was a brand new thing. You'd never seen it before. It was fresh. It was just a new concept. And the fact that if you go back and watch it, I mean, the match ended whenever JJ landed weird.
When the Road Warriors ruined him?
Like you saw that, it's just like, whoa.
See, I'm a Sting Squadron versus Dangerous Alliance guy. I love that.
That's my close second.
Yes.
That is a very good
Austin's in that. Wyndham's in that. Rude, Sting, Steamboat. I mean, it's loaded. Bobby Eaton.
I saw a video where Austin basically said he gigged himself 4 different times.
He had to have.
I mean, he was
Yeah. Covered.
Jesus.
Have
Made
you
a
never
great
seen
match,
that?
though. Made a great match, though.
Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
You
Go-
But
you
if
need to
he's covered in
go-
blood,
go
out
watch
of
it.
your
probably
go out of your way to
this
watch
this
that one.
this makes whenever he fought Bret Hart at WrestleMania and the
Right.
blood running down his face during the sharpshooter, it puts that to shame. I mean, he is
Well, that's a pretty bold claim there.
he
Alex.
is
It's that good, huh?
He's gushed
Awesome.
to the max.
Awesome.
And that's 92. And I also,
love that.
I also wanted to bring this up in terms of cage matches. Have you ever seen a company, well, I guess since there have only been so many since we were what age, do worse cage matches of any kind than WCW from about 93 till the time they close? Can you name a good cage match they did? Just all kinds of terrible.
So
I don't know if it was the aesthetics or who was in it. Just they're all so bad.
So what was the date range?
So bad.
93 to
93 to
96,
to
95?
2001.
Oh, just
Can you name a good cage match from? Think about it. Name a good cage match that WCW had during their hot streak. And if you can do it, God bless your soul.
I put this one on the list because I know it's not a technical masterpiece. I mean, it's a cage match, so I mean, you're gonna have Owen and Brett, and that's probably going to be the only classical wrestling masterpiece per se that you're going to have in a cage. But
Go ahead.
Flair and Hogan in '99, it was okay. I thought.
Are you talking about the one where it was a first blood match?
Yeah.
And then the guy and then Hogan started bleeding.
And that's why I thought
That's
it was,
my point.
exactly. But I thought that was funny. I thought that was comical, and that kept me entertained.
But it's so stupid. They did
I
those.
agree.
They did those war games with like 3 teams, and Ultimate Warrior ripped the cage off.
Those were awful.
Then
I
they
agree.
did the triple cage thing where it was guys fighting to get to the top. I think. Does anybody remember?
I remember. They're
No.
just. I remember.
You don't like
the
Warrior
tower,
ripping the cage off?
the tower thing where they had
No.
That's what wrestling's all about, is that sort of over-the-top shit. That's what got you into it in the first place, was that sort of over-the-top shit. You know what I'm saying? Am I wrong? Am I wrong here to say that extra mile that they go that's probably not believable is the attraction?
Yeah, but
Stuff
that's also
like that.
what killed them.
I don't know, man. Stuff like that, and like I mentioned earlier with Mankind going through the floor, that over-the-top shit, that's just that just sticks right here.
So if
forever.
So with these new concepts like this triple cage, Tower of Doom, whatever you want to call it, like I think it could have worked if you had different guys. But whenever you're bringing in David Arquette, that was it for me. I
think the fact that you
that's
have
a black
Jeff
eye.
Jarrett in it, that would be like when we were kids in 1990. It's Hogan, Earthquake,
Yeah.
Macho Man, Jesus, who else was big? Ultimate Warrior, Rick Rude, and Coco Beware.
Yeah.
In the cage match, and then having Coco win. But fuck, Jeff Jarrett's gonna win it?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. That's terrible. Well, they liked him, but the other thing I wanted to bring up, and you guys take it anywhere you want. We have done gay porn so far, so
Yeah, we have.
we haven't done it.
Whoa.
We've discussed it.
God damn, Corey.
I'm telling you, these porno movies with all male cast. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna state it. They are not very good. Those movies aren't.
Okay.
So
I have no frame of reference, but I will take your word for it.
Continuing, you were saying
that they overbooked, super ruined cage matches for them. They couldn't do one well. I remember they did one with Piper and Hogan. I think it was really bad.
It was bad.
Age in a cage, as they referred to it.
Yep.
Age in a cage. What good matches did Piper have? I mean, some of his earlier shit, but I love the guy, I love the character and the way he talked, but when you think about, it's hard for me to remember like really good brawls that Piper had.
He didn't really have any good matches, and I would say the last good match I saw him have was with Bret Hart.
Took my answer.
Was it
Right.
WrestleMania?
WrestleMania 8.
But before that, you got to go back to NWA. Whenever
Right.
he's having like dog collar matches with Greg Valentine.
I'm telling
the
you,
Hammer.
this guy's stealing all my answers. Look at your own pages there, buddy. Jesus.
When was the Von Erich blood match? I'm still trying to find him cutting him.
Super Clash 3. It's fucking dreadful.
Where he cut his arm?
Yes.
If you get it, let me see it too, or send it to me or something. I want to watch that.
He takes his jacket off and looks at his arm like, oh, I cut my arm.
You can't see the blood though. You can see him fiddling with his blade throughout the first 3 minutes of the match.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it starts shooting into the third row.
I don't see the blood that
Fucker
bad.
hit an artery.
Yeah. Well, they covered it up. I mean, they covered for it. They didn't cover it up. They tried to cover for that part, saying he went to his arm. The other one it's not on the list is Jerry Lawler got his head shaved when he wrestled Austin Idol, and there's the old story is that Tommy Rich hid under the ring. This is in Memphis. He hid under the ring throughout the entire day, before the matches started.
I did not know this. Continue.
He came out, attacked Lawler. They about had a riot in Memphis. You can definitely pull that up. Pull up Lawler Idol head shave, and Rich comes in. They beat him. People are just losing their minds. It's a really good thing. And the other one was Buzz Sawyer, Tommy Rich, which came up on the network. They finally found that footage, which they had been searching for only 30 years, 35 years. No big deal. WWE just puts it on like, yeah, we found this.
Here it is.
That's it. That's exciting. What's another cage match that we haven't covered, or a favorite anybody's got?
What's the bullshit one that WWE does now, where they have the pods?
Elimination Chamber.
Oh.
They had one of those in St. Louis. One of the worst things I've ever tried watching.
They're not very
Just,
good this
you
year.
can't see through. You can't. I mean, it was just.
Eric, you know what we're talking about here?
I do.
Do you like those? Is that a cage match to you?
No.
See, me either.
No.
I mean, it's a domed fucking ring.
I know.
Not in a traditional sense. I guess technically it's a cage and you're having a match, so I guess it's a cage.
So it is technically a
But
cage match.
in my mind, no, that's not a cage match. match. And cage match is fucking square, bud.
I mean, everyone's gonna.
I like it.
I'm just
So
saying.
if it was a cube,
Well, it is a cube technically. When the roofs, yeah. So when they have a roof, it's a cube. But no, I'm not into the dome shit.
No. Do you? What do you think of it, T.O.? I mean, aside from being in person, and that's another thing we haven't talked about, seeing a cage match in person. I hate them.
yeah, it's rough.
Like I'm like, oh, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels are coming out of the cage. I'm like, oh, cool, we can see all the shit they're doing now. And
Were
No,
you
because you're
close
looking
level?
up
Yeah.
through. It's bad.
Were you close, Corey?
No,
No.
Not
So you were Jumbotron in it, Titantron.
no, you could see enough that way. We weren't. We were kind of at an angle, which puts that corner of the cage where you're at. We were down low, not low, but we're in the lower bowl at the back, towards that bowl. So it's different. But even when you are, it's kind of like being on the floor at a wrestling match is the worst thing you could ever do.
Really?
Oh my God, you can't see anything.
I remember the first time I ordered a wrestling pay-per-view in HD. I was disappointed because the cage caught so much glare in the high definition, and it was like, well, that isn't even. I mean, yeah, it looks cool or whatnot, but it's not like anytime the camera moved, you're catching that glare off of the cage where you didn't get that before. Like
They have gone through so much shit trying to fix the cages to make them more TV friendly. Is
Right.
that what you'd say?
Yeah.
Trying to kill
guess.
that glare, trying to put like matte paint
Right.
on the cage to make it so it doesn't kill with all the lights. I hate the lighting now too, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's rough.
That's a random complaint that you hear a lot. What other T.O., did you have any other talk on seeing these in person or a favorite cage match? Do you have anything besides the
I'm just watching the
goddamn
old
Hell in a
stuff there we're trying to
what's
find.
our what are the matches with the pods?
Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber.
No, they're just brutal. I mean, that's just impossible to watch.
Yeah.
We were in the suite at the one there, and I mean, you're eye level with it. And you could not see shit.
No.
It was bad.
It's a waste of $1. It's kind of like when guys fight outside the ring and you're at a wrestling event. You can't see shit. That once they go to one side of the ring, all right, I'm gonna look up at the jumbotron the entire time. That's exciting.
So what did you think? I see he's got one down here. Was Vince McMahon and Stone Cold?
Love that match.
Yeah.
St. Valentine's Massacre. That's where the Big Show made his first appearance. Came up through the ring.
It's Paul White. It's Paul White.
That's right. Couldn't say what was his name. He was the Giant in
Yeah.
WCW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouting as Paul White's like, no, it's the Giant. What? He has a real name? What?
Yeah. Thought they were gonna try and copy WCW there. No, that's a good match. That's where McMahon takes the bump off the cage and looks like he about breaks his neck because he doesn't know how to fall. It's a really good match, and he keeps flipping Austin off to get him to come back in the ring and beat the shit out of him more.
That McMahon, he's
Great,
Yeah.
all-time villain.
yeah.
Maybe number one.
But you know, you gotta think like, did he write all these storylines or did he just approve them? Because if he
Didn't write him.
You know what I mean? Like that thing right there with him flipping him off to get him to come back in the ring. Everybody loved that. Who doesn't want to beat their boss up? You know what I mean? Most working stiffs to have that dream and to see it lived out in this cage match, like, you know, that was. It's great.
know.
It's great. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a good one.
They couldn't miss back then.
No,
They had a 2-3
had a
year
formula,
run. They
bud.
couldn't miss.
a formula that was fucking all good.
Kathy Kelly is who Finn Balor dates.
Well, good for him. Yeah. What cage match were they in? What other ones from the list have we not covered? Are worth discussion? All of them.
We haven't really talked about Race and Flair much. 83. We
I don't think these
briefly
guys.
touched on
I don't
it.
think these guys have seen that one. It's a very good
I have
match.
not.
You guys can talk about it.
Right.
Just YouTube and stuff over here. Just funny wrestling stuff.
I've got a
I'm down that wormhole now, just watching botches.
That's what you get. I've got a T-shirt that is the bounty. You've watched the bounty that Flair puts on, or Race puts on
Yeah.
Flair going into that match.
Yeah.
I've got a T-shirt that's just Race holding the belt with a briefcase full of cash. I
Nice.
love that. It's great. And it is a good match with Kaniski reffing. Now,
That's right. I forgot he reffed that match.
yeah. So, how do you just learn about this stuff as you go, or how did you get into like watching that? Because it's before all of our time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was born in '85, so again, as a kid, I would order my parents would order the once every 3 or 4 month pay-per-views that it was back then. But then I would also go to the video store and get the VHS tapes for previous pay-per-views for like 50 cents.
You're a good man.
And then just with the advent of YouTube and kind of ashamed to say the network, which I do not have a subscription to anymore.
Reason?
You can get everything else on YouTube, Daily Motion, whatever else is out there.
Fair enough.
You can find it.
Fair enough.
But I would just go back and watch old material and it was entertaining.
I agree.
Simple explanation. But I'm trying to remember.
That was very simple.
When was the first time I watched Flair and Race? Because I've watched like Flair and Race, Magnum and Tully. A lot of these matches I've watched more than once just because they're that entertaining.
Yeah, I want to say Flair and Race was on Lords of the Ring. It had the red cover with Steamboat throwing Flair midair, and then it's got the Fabulous Ones and the Road Warriors in each corner. You can also look that up. We'll put a picture up or something. We don't even touch Twitter or any of that shit anymore, do we? Oh, by the way, check us out, Facebook.com/Three Horsemen Show. Twitter.com, same thing, /Three Horsemen Show. Check us out on YouTube, /Three Horsemen Show. Go to your app store. Go to our iTunes, wherever you got to go. Download our show. Give us a rating. If it's worth 1 star, that's fine. But try and give us 5 stars. And also, go download Yo Radio. You can check out any of our shows. Lineup Media, we have our own station. That's what we're trying to fill her up with content. So go check it out. Yo Radio. We've got Surreal Talk. We've got, if you're St. Louis locally, we've got Blues and Cardinals show. What's Jada's show over there now? She's the Girls Talk.
Who's yeah, I don't know.
Girls.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
So we got the Ocho Man.
Yeah,
Eric's on the Ocho Man.
Behind the 8 ball. They're done doing this day in history, aren't they? They're done with that?
No, I think this day in history, there's just only so much shit that happened on those days, and I think they've covered them.
365 episodes. That wasn't a very smart business plan, was it?
Watch, we're going to run out. We covered every cage match ever. We're going to be like, okay, singles matches, and we'll be done. Eventually, we'll run out of shit. Who had the best ring attire?
I don't know. There's one on here, though, that I'm seeing on this list that I'm definitely going to have to look up because I like both wrestlers. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit on Raw. I didn't even know that took place. I just graduated high school around that time, so yeah.
Ooh,
that
Alex,
probably
give
really
us
was not.
Alex, give us some background on that.
The only thing I remember about that match was Angle doing a moonsault off the top of the cage and missing.
Yes.
And it's just one. It's
Fucking
just one.
hate Kurt Angle.
It's just one of those just one of those iconic. Like they would play it on the, like the Raw intro package, and
right.
I mean, they had it on there for the longest time. But it's just one of those things. Like if they did like a best of cage matches, they'd probably put that 5-second clip or whatever on.
It'd be in, huh? It's included.
I mean, I don't remember the match itself, to be honest. I remember it being halfway decent. But, I mean, that was also the time where I just, from about, I don't know, 99, 2000 until, I don't know, 05, I just didn't watch. And then from, like, I watched here and there from, like, 05 to 2009, 2010, and I've just pretty much stopped ever since with the occasional Mania or Royal Rumble or something like that.
YouTube's a beautiful thing, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
What do you need?
I think a lot of people are like that. That's how I literally almost have the exact same timeline. T.O. and I talk about it all the time. We're like, man, when did you stop watching? And it's always right about, yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Yeah. And it's always the same thing. Here's a great one we forgot to mention. Team Russo. Kevin Nash, Jeff Jarrett, Scott Steiner, Vince Russo, and the Harris brothers.
The Harris brothers. Wasn't one of those a pimp that got arrested for... No, I swear to God, look this up. Ron and Don, I think, was their names.
Yeah.
One of them went to prison because he was holding, like, girls hostage, chained up in his... I'm almost positive.
Wait a minute.
It was
Wait
the
a minute.
Harris brothers.
Let me get through this whole fucking thing. Team Russo. So you got the team here. Nash, Jarrett, Scott Steiner, Vince Russo, and the Harris brothers defeated the team of Sting, Goldberg, Booker T, and Chronic when Nash exited the triple cage structure with the WCW title to retain the title. So I guess these guys all wrestled for the world title? A War Games to determine the title?
So that Pimp Harris was in a title match.
Pimp Harris and Don Harris. I wonder what Vince Russo was in it. Jesus Christ. How did they... We haven't talked about it. What do you think led to them going out of business? I'm joking.
WCW?
I mean, that match alone.
Whenever you have a triple cage and nobody in the match knows the rules, and so we're just like, hey, we're just going to have Nash grab the belt next to the cage and call him the winner.
Oh, it was that bad? That was a shit show?
Yeah, I vaguely remember it because
yeah, there's another one. Doesn't somebody get speared through a cage?
Russo's been speared through a cage. I remember that. I think that was that same match, but it was after the match was over.
And he became the champion because of that?
I don't remember that part. That's a different match then, I guess.
God. What were they doing?
Because he exited the cage first. He was technically...
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Here's another one we forgot. The Hulkamaniacs. Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Lex Luger, and Sting defeated the Dungeon of Doom in a War Games match, which consisted of Kamala the Ugandan Giant. Everybody knows Kamala. The Zodiac, Bruce the Beefcake in white and black face paint.
Yep.
The Shark.
Earthquake
with shark teeth drawn on his cheeks.
Oh.
And Ming.
I'm sorry, it's Hardbody Harrison that was the pimp.
Oh.
Not the Harris brothers.
They do look nearly alike, though, Hardbody Harrison and Don Harris. One's a black bodybuilder. The other one's a fucking biker that I'm pretty sure was in the KKK. Nearly.
I can see the similarity.
These guys are hard to decipher sometimes.
I don't even remember this Hardbody Harrison guy.
I think he was in WCW for a cup of coffee. Enhancement talent. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so you've got...
I think he was with Chris Colt in one of those movies. Go ahead.
You've got okay, so there's a point of reference here to definitely tell when WCW went off the deep end. So you've got Sting Squadron against the Dangerous Alliance in May of '92.
And they had a horrible year that year, though, too. But yes.
But they were still able to put on a good match regardless. But then next year, '93, Sting, Davey Boy Smith, Dustin Rhodes, and the Shockmaster. Typhoon.
The Shockmaster.
I didn't know he was
Typhoon.
He went under the Shockmaster.
Typhoon.
Huh? Yeah, I remember Typhoon, but I didn't know he went as Shockmaster. That's
whoa,
crazy.
whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
This
You've never seen the Shockmaster?
I don't think so.
His debut?
No,
the funniest moment.
Put this on TV.
Funniest moment of
Let's
pro
do it.
wrestling
Let's see it.
ever.
Pull it up.
Please show him.
I don't know how to.
Oh, I can do it. What's it called?
The Shockmaster. Just type that in.
Just
It'll be the first thing that comes in when you type in
Folks,
Shockmaster.
if you're listening.
Oh, God, it sure is debut.
If you're listening, you are going to listen to somebody
Oh, that's a stormtrooper.
see the Shockmaster
They were
debut on WCW for the first